This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News, joined by trainer Jamie Moore here in Manchester. Jamie, a nice local one for you today. How you doing?
Yeah, not too far to come, mate. It only takes me about 15 minutes in from where I live, so it's not too bad.
Obviously, the man to the next of you faces Usyk-Fury next weekend. What challenges do you feel like Usyk-Fury poses? Because there's still question marks over how much more he has left to give.
Yeah, listen, Regis is still a dangerous proposition for any fighter at 140, and yeah, you know, has he probably seen better days, probably because of his age, but he's still a dangerous opponent, and we needed to make sure that for Jack to be able to perform at his best, he needed to make sure that he was going in there with that fear, knowing that he could be pushed and potentially beat. So it wasn't by accident that we picked someone like Regis who we respect, who's dangerous. We needed that to make sure that at this stage of his career, these type of opponents are bringing out the best in Jack.
But I always say one of the last things you lose as a fighter is your power. Usyk-Fury is known to be quite an aggressive, come forward and can knock out his opponents in quite devastating fashion. Do you feel like Jack enjoys that fear factor, having fighters like that?
He needs it, especially at this stage. You know, he's been really active recently, which has been a change for him. And if he's going to go on and win a world title, which we all believe he can do, I know he's capable of, he has to beat Regis. He's got to be beating fighters like this. And you know, Regis is a two-time world champion. His pedigree speaks for itself. So Jack going in there and beating him and doing a good job on him, he'll put the world on notice that Jack's ready to go on and win them world titles.
You mentioned putting a good job on him. But one thing people are slightly critical on Jack is if maybe he doesn't force the fight a little bit more, push the fight, look for that stoppage, that devastating finish. Is that something which has been spoken about, or something we might see a bit more of an aggressive Jack Catterall?
Listen, my main concern is Jack winning. That's the only thing he needs to do. Also, we have spoken about in the past about making sure the match with the right type of fighters. Hence, the reason why he's in with such a dangerous opponent as Regis, because Regis is going to come and try and take Jack's head off. And that they're the type of fighters what I believe will bring out the best in Jack. You know, you seen last time Josh Taylor was a much better version last time than in the first fight with Jack. And he brought the best out in Jack. He was made to work hard, but he brought the best out in him because that type of style is always more suited for Jack.
Jamie, obviously you've got the Liam Paro and Paro-Hitchins fight. It's a matchroom fight. Is that a type of the winner of that, for example, you guys are looking at? You would imagine an easy fight to make. Yeah,
you'd have to be thinking that he's in for the winner there. You know, Eddie's promised him a world title if he comes through this, and I'm pretty sure he'll be going in with the right, fingers crossed.
There's a fight this weekend of one of Jack's former opponents, Davies versus Azim. What do you make of that fight?
Yeah, do you know what? It's not a straightforward fight, that. You know, I think Azim's a big favourite, and rightly so. You know, he's style-wise, you know, he's a sharpshooter from the outside, and O'Hara's going to struggle keeping up with that speed. But he only needs one shot. You know, the last thing you lose is your power. And you know, he's been through the mill over the years. O'Hara, he's got a lot of miles on the clock now, but he's got it in him to pull it out. And you know, I pick Azim as a favourite, but I wouldn't be surprised if he lands that one big shot.
Just some fights I want to get your thoughts on, Jamie. Obviously, this past weekend, Beterbiev, Bivol. I've seen all sorts of scorecards. How did you see it?
Phenomenal fight, and I just thought it was close. One of those fights could have gone either way. I don't think there's controversy. You know, I can see the argument for Beterbiev winning it, but Bivol, I understand. He feels like he won the fight, and he sets it up nicely for a rematch.
Who did you think won?
I thought Beterbiev just won it. I thought it was one of those fights which could have gone either way. I'm not one of these guys who goes, oh, the aggressor should win, but he was pushing the fight. I thought Bivol struggled to maintain him like he does with other fighters, and hence why it was a close fight. You know, they both had the moments, they both hurt each other or stopped each other in the tracks a lot of the time, and it was just one of them fights could have gone either way.
We saw on that undercard a couple of fights I want to get your thoughts on. Firstly, Whittaker and Liam Cameron. What did you make of the fight up until the point when they both toppled over the top rope, and what did you make of the way that he finished in that fashion? Yeah,
listen, it was you know, people are saying that Whittaker wasn't performing to his best, but Liam Cameron's game plan was really good. You know, the way I talk about it in the gym is fighters who can't match their opponent's skill level, they have to find a way to bring them down to their skill level. He did it brilliantly. I call it simplifying it. You know, simplify the tactics. Don't try and match them. Bring them down to your level. And he walked him down. His hands were nice and tight. His shot selection was good. He let his hands go when he could and when he had to. And you know, Whittaker sort of ran out of ideas. He wasn't used to being in with that type of opponent. You know, a lot of good amateurs are not used to an opponent being able to weather that early storm and then start coming on strong. You know, the sharpshoot it for 2 or 3 rounds in an amateur fight, and the fight's finished. You know, a good pro will always get into a fight when you start getting into rounds 5, 6, where that sort of relentless pressure takes over. So yeah, I thought, considering how the fight ended, I thought the fight was a fair result. But I think the way I was looking at it, it was only going to go one way.
I mean, speaking of kind of the light heavyweight division, you've taken on a young one yourself in Conor. What's the plan with Conor moving forwards? Yeah,
Conor's got announced he's signed with Matchroom, and phenomenal talent. Really going to be an exciting addition to the pros. He's explosive. He's really, really powerful. He's a light heavyweight. You know, he's a big guy, and so he's going to cause some stirs. Honestly, I can really see him doing well in the pros. He's been with Nige since he was 8 years old, so it's a lovely story as well. You know, coming from the Moss Side Fire Station Boxing Club. There's a piece somewhere where we went to Nige's gym at Christmas when I was working for Sky, and we did a training piece. And at the end of it, we did a press-up competition to see who could do the most press-ups, and Conor won it, and he was about 10 years old, and he won a ringside t-shirt. So there's loads of different little things like that going back over the years where it'll be nice to put it out on social media and see the progress he's come from, because that area of Manchester, you know, is really so important to have a place like Nige's gym to give kids like Conor the opportunity to get themselves out of that situation and you know, make a better life for themselves, and he's going to be proof in the pudding.
With Conor, we spoke about Ben Whittaker, a fight down the line, 2 former Team GB fighters, light heavyweight, one which you could see happening.
Absolutely, of course. Listen, that's what he's in the game for. I'm sure Ben Whittaker's the same, and they know each other. They've got, you know, they'll spar together at GB, and so people like that around that weight division, when they've come through that same process, they know eventually if they both fulfil the potential, they're going to meet at some point. So I've no doubt that fight will happen in the next couple of years.
Just away from that, going back to Saudi, Fabio Wardley, devastating first round knockout of Fraser Clarke. What did you make of that?
Yeah, it was scary, to be honest. I'll be honest, I didn't watch the show live. I was out in Tenerife with my family, so I was just getting constant feedback off Cameron Vong. He was just sending me WhatsApps all the time. But when I watched it back on replay, I was like, it was scary. So thank God he's okay. But Fabio Wardley, man, he's got to be one of, if not the most improved fighter in Britain over the last couple of years. Like, he's probably easier. He's got more room to improve because he basically had a starting point from zero. You know, no amateur background, but the way he's come through and is performing at this level now is really, really good. And he's a nice guy as well. I've got a lot of time for Fabio. He's a good kid. Just
some fights on the horizon. Get your thoughts on Sonny Edwards, Galal Yafai, November 30th. Do you have a favourite?
Mate, that's another one. You know, just what I say, it's so good that we're talking about fights being made or what have took place where you can't really pick a winner before or after. You know what I mean? The best fighting the best. Sonny, like versus Galal, is a phenomenal fight, and again they've got history. You can't really pick a winner. You know, Sonny's style is probably best suited to give Galal problems, and vice versa. So it's a great fight. It's who can establish their style. You know, Galal might be 6 behind and then come on strong in the second half. It might be that type of fight. So we'll see, but a phenomenal fight. Fair play to both guys for taking it.
There's also a lot of talk about a rematch between Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois taking place. Do you think that would be the right move for AJ?
For me, if I was AJ, I'd go straight in with Fury, regardless of whether Fury, regardless of what happens with Usyk and Fury. I think it's a crying shame that we've not seen the fight yet. And for me, I think they should both bite the bullet and fight each other. I think everyone is still buying into it, still want to see it. I think Dubois is getting better. Again, he's one of the most improved fighters in the country. And for me, I'm not saying AJ can't beat him. I think he can. I think he was a bit reserved in that fight going in. I don't know. I wonder whether everything was okay with him. He just sort of was a little bit gun-shy, didn't let his hands go like he has been doing. But you got to take your hat off to Daniel Dubois. He fought a great fight, timed that right hand perfectly. But I still want to see AJ v Fury. I think the build-up would be phenomenal, and I think the fight itself would be a great fight.
Right, Jamie, I appreciate your time. Good luck next weekend, and thanks for speaking to me in Boxing News.
Cheers, Andi. Nice one, mate.